Okay, where are all my minimal jewelry girls? Because that is exactly what I am. I am a dainty chain and everyday hoop girl all the way. And that is why I'm obsessed with Uncommon James. It was founded by the Queen, Kristen Cavallari, in 2017. They started out with a simple mission to create affordable jewelry that elevates personal style. And over time, they've launched Vermeil and sterling silver collections, bold pendant statement pieces, and obviously still having the dainty chains and everyday hoops. But it's for those who want luxurious investment pieces that are still on the affordable side. And I am obsessed with all of my pieces from there because I've had them for a while and they have not tarnished at all. They're so quality. And since then, she's created Uncommon Lifestyle and Uncommon Beauty. Uncommon Lifestyle is home to candles, kitchenware, apparel, and so much more. And then they launched Uncommon Beauty, which is a skincare line. They created a 5-step routine, and now they're expanding into more specialized products to take that skincare to the next level. So if you're interested in trying out any of the products on Uncommon James, lucky for you, I have a code that you can use at checkout. If you head to uncommonjames.com, you can use code Veronica at checkout. That's code VERONICA, Veronica at checkout. Head to uncommonjames.com and use code Veronica at checkout.
Hello, and welcome to Martinis and Bikinis, the podcast for everything under the sun. I am your hostess, Veronica Droulia, and I am here to help you navigate your 20s through all things lifestyle, beauty, and fashion. So, if you're ready, let's dive into today's episode.
Hello, and welcome back to Martinis and Bikinis. I am your hostess, Veronica Droulia, and today we are going to talk about my favorite topics. I moved to New York in July of last year, and I was really interested to discover that there is a huge wellness scene here. I lived in LA for a month. I don't know if I can technically say live, but I was in LA for a month last year in February, and I was kind of toying around with potentially moving there. And obviously LA has a huge wellness scene. I was also on the West Side. I was staying in Venice, which is extremely wellness oriented. I was right next to an Erewhon. It was a dream, but it rained every single day that I was there. And you guys know the story if you've been listening to the podcast for a while, but I basically met with a psychic and she told me that that was a sign from the universe not to move to LA. So here I am in New York and obviously found my little corner of the wellness scene, made some wellnessy friends, and I've been going to some fun workouts. But I feel like my whole mentality towards wellness as a whole has changed a lot. And I really feel like it's just about fueling my body with things that make me feel good, and not necessarily just food, but physically, like how I'm moving my body and the people that I'm surrounding myself with, the environments that I'm putting myself into. And yeah, I'm actually prepping right now for Miami Swim Week. So my swimwear line, Noah, which has a collection coming out very, very, very soon, I have been working endlessly the last year on making sure that this is like the most perfect collection we've ever launched. And there's been like a lot of behind the scenes stuff happening too, and just switching of ownership and things like that. So I'm excited for that to happen, but we are walking for Flying Solo July 1st, which they put on a Miami Swim Week show every year. They also do Paris Fashion Week, New York Fashion Week. They have a showroom here in Soho in New York, in Miami, and in Paris. So this is a huge opportunity. They basically have small independent designers from all over the world in their showrooms. So being a part of this is just a huge honor. But I'm prepping for that. So that means, you know, exercising, moving my body, fueling my body, and just making sure that I am runway ready. Because if you guys have never been to a fashion show, usually the designer walks out at the end, and I prefer to wear some of our pieces whenever I'm doing that, just so I can show off how it's a part of me and a part of my lifestyle. So I've tried to fuel my body in between traveling. I've been traveling like crazy the last couple of weeks. I was just in the DR. It was incredible. I was on a family vacation on my dad's side of the family, and it was so much fun, but there was a lot of drinking, and I'm pretty sure every single meal that I ate was like just carbs, and carbs are not bad. Just like I was eating the carbs that are not very good for you. And yeah, I think now this week that I'm settling back into New York, I'm just getting back into my routine. But I did find time to work out while I was on vacation, which I know it's not for everybody, but because I do travel a lot, I find it important to develop somewhat of a routine while I'm traveling. So whether that's getting a walk in first thing in the morning, or if there's a gym, hitting the gym for a bit, maybe even just doing 30 minutes of cardio, whatever I can fit in. I obviously want to enjoy myself while I'm in a new city or a new place, but it makes me feel good and it gives me energy. So I prefer to just get it in. I have been training with my trainer, Dan, for I don't even know how long now, like since August, which is crazy to me, but he's incredible. He's taught me so much about form and making sure that I'm building muscle. And I think this is the strongest I've ever been in my entire life, which is crazy to say because I remember my first session with him. I told him that I wanted to be able to do chin-ups and he made me try to do it myself. And I could maybe do like one jumpy one. And I was so embarrassed. Now I'm building on that and I'm able to do a lot more. And it's super cool to just see how strong my body has gotten. And it's super powerful. But yeah, I've been training with him since August and I've definitely seen just improvements in my endurance and my strength and just my overall well-being. But he's amazing. I've been begging him to come on the podcast. I think when you have a podcast named Martinis and Bikinis, it kind of hinders men away for some reason. But I've had men on before, so I don't know what people are so scared of. And it's kind of fun to get the guy's perspective sometimes, you know. I'm not going to force anybody into a bikini. And Remy, my engineer, is cracking up right now because I've forced him to come on the show before. So, anyway. So I've been training with Dan, but I've obviously been trying some new workouts as well. SoulCycle is not new for me. I've been doing that for years. I'm obsessed with it. I think it's a good way to get some more high impact cardio in if you haven't been moving your body a lot. Let's say I haven't been doing cardio for a few days. I'll go into something a little bit more high impact just to get my blood flowing. And just, I love it. I think it's amazing. And some people don't like it. Some people think it like raises their cortisol. I feel like I've been doing it for so long that it just feels like second nature, but I feel like I just transport into like a really cool concert rave and I'm just on a bike and dancing to the music. It's so fun. My favorite instructors here in New York are Cam, Sammy, and Jonas. Cam is super hard. I'm going to be honest. I think he is the most tough SoulCycle instructor I've ever taken in my life. And I've taken a lot of classes in different cities, but I went with my friend Zach. We took Cam's class and I was dying by the end of it, but it was so good. I felt like so energized after. And it was like right before Easter and it was just a good way to get some movement in before the weekend. But I also love Sammy. He is so funny because he's just like, I don't know if he is like a surfer, but he just reminds me of like a surfer bro. He was based in DC and then came to New York. I did not take his class in DC. I started taking it here in New York on, I think it's the 86th Street location, but he is so great. He has the best music. I feel like he thinks he's a DJ, which I love because he's always playing with the lights, putting on the disco ball. Just, you really, really feel like you're at a concert when you're in his class. And then Jonas is just like, he has the best swag ever. He plays the best, just like hip hop music. It's like definitely if you want to just like go in and feel like a badass, and it's great. He's awesome. He was also another DC guy that came to New York. He was actually my first SoulCycle class ever, and I will always love him for that. He does not know me, but I feel like I have this attachment to like specific instructors, and he's definitely one of them. I recently went to Body Rock in Flatiron and I went with a friend while she was visiting. It's my friend Ellie. She's been on the podcast before. She's one of my childhood friends. We did an episode, one of my first guests, and I think this was actually my first guest episode. I was in New York and I had my two friends here and we decided to just film an episode. And she is so hilarious because she's just like a very goofy person, like personality wise. Like she's really funny and she like always has these really witty remarks, but she is just so incredibly graceful. She's a ballerina and like so athletic. So going with her to this class was so humbling. She was like slaying the entire time and I'm like huffing and puffing next to her, but it's really fun. It's a really interesting fusion / twist to Pilates. So you're using this backboard to like jump off of it, and I don't really know how to explain it in like a visual way, but it's a lot of like jumping and there's like a cardio influence to it. So I really liked that. SLT Pilates is a great workout as well. They have locations all over the city. I really like the one that's the Upper East Side, but it's not like the upper East Side one. It's in the 70s, I believe. I really like that location. It's big. There's a lot of room. And then SLT Tread in Flatiron is absolutely incredible. It's another mix of cardio and Pilates, but you do 25 minutes of the treadmill. It's interval running and walking, and then you do 25 minutes on the Pilates Megaformer. I think it's a Megaformer, and it's a really good mix. I'm one of those people whenever I'm working out where I get really bored easily, so it's important for me to just kind of switch up the environment or switch up the pace. So that's why I really like SLT Tread, and it's very co-ed there, which I like. It's like a good mix of guys and girls, and I feel like that's like really encouraging to see sometimes. I am a member of Equinox. I think it's totally worth it for me here because I work from there. I work remotely, so having a place where I can go besides my home is important. Fun fact, most places in New York, this is the most annoying thing ever, but most cafes or places that you think you could work remotely do not have Wi-Fi. They don't have public Wi-Fi. And then there's places that don't even allow laptops. So having this place is really important for me as a businesswoman to be able to go in, do my work, get my workout in, and kind of just chill there for the day, honestly. But I really love their Pilates fusion classes and their hot yoga. There's also some really cool, unique classes. I really want to take Alexis. She has this class called Silhouette by Alexis. I've been dying to go take one of her classes. I just haven't had time in my schedule to actually go to one of them, but it's at times where there's like a conflict. But she was based in Houston for a bit, and my friend Noelle was telling me that she has an incredible class. It's bar and Pilates and kind of dance focused. And yeah, she has her own unique class to Equinox, which I think is really cool. There's a bunch of classes like that. And then I went to Metcon 3. If you guys are Equinox members or have been to an Equinox class, Metcon 3 is the scariest thing I've ever done in my life. My friend's boyfriend does it very consistently, and I've done it before, but this specific class that I took the other day was so terrible for my overall stress levels. I wanted to walk out. And I haven't felt that way in a workout class in a very long time, but even afterwards, I was so depleted of energy. I felt like I had gotten hit by a truck. It was absolutely horrendous. The instructor, I swear he was on something because everything he was saying was like so incredibly annoying. And I know that there's instructors that people will consistently feel like that about, and it's true. Whenever you're like suffering through a workout, like the last thing you want to hear is certain things that certain instructors say. I'm not shitting on any instructors. This is just my own personal experience with this specific class, but I thought I was going to scream, and I think it's just important to note, I guess the positive note of this whole experience was that I think it's really important to focus on workouts that energize you and make you feel really good once you walk out of there. This specific class made me feel like absolute trash, and now I know that that is not well suited for my body. It does not mean that it isn't well suited for anybody else. This is just how I personally felt. Anyway, Equinox classes are great, but I will be retiring from Metcon 3 forever. I really love P-Volve. My friend Melanie, she's been on the podcast as well. She is a trainer at Pvolve, and she is absolutely amazing, hilarious. She has such a good community too. She has girls that are constantly in her classes and they're there every single day. I think it's awesome. Jennifer Aniston is also the rep for Pvolve, which if you guys love Jennifer Aniston, definitely recommend trying out Pvolve. The studio is just really chic aesthetic, and I like that it's a mix of bar and strength and just all these different modalities of working out. I think they combine it really well into one 50-minute class. And yeah, I think it's definitely like an it girl workout, which I love, but it's on ClassPass, and they also have like incredible membership options. So love Pvolve. Emmy Got Gold, who has also been on the podcast, has Pilates classes all over the city. She's been featured in Women's Health Mag. She has an incredible story. She shared it on the podcast, and I'm so grateful that she was able to come on Martinis and Bikinis. We had such a fun conversation. You can go back and listen to that episode, but she's always having classes at Aloe Yoga or just different studios around the city. So definitely recommend following her on Instagram and seeing where her next classes are. She's absolutely phenomenal. Such a bright light of energy, just really inspiring and motivating. And yeah, there are some workouts that I really want to try. So if you guys have tried these, let me know. But I really want to try Tracy Anderson. And I know that people shit on Tracy Anderson all the time. Just the workout, not her as a person, but the Tracy Anderson method. I think I would enjoy it for some reason. And I know I'm saying that before I go in, but it's a completely silent class. So it's 60 minutes of silence, and the instructor just walks in and starts doing the workout and you follow along. I feel like that might be my speed considering my rant about the Metcon 3 instructor, but apparently it's super hard and a lot of fluid movements. So it can be probably very easy to injure yourself. So I think having good form is probably really important before walking into a class like that, but I'm going to give it a try. Maybe I'll give you guys my review. And then I really want to try Natural Pilates. I've heard they have an incredible studio, and Emmy actually recommended Natural to me. So we've been wanting to go take a class together. So I'll have to review that as well. And then No Far Method. I have not done that specific type of Pilates. I don't even know what they're really called, but it's like those big machines where you like hang from it and stuff. I really want to try that, but I have no experience with a machine like that. So I might have to do a private class beforehand so I don't completely embarrass myself. But that's the thing I love about going to workout classes, group fitness especially, because it truly is embarrassing. Like working out and doing something for the first time where you're moving your body and it feels unfamiliar is embarrassing. And I feel so accomplished after I walk out of a room where I had no idea what I was doing, but I powered through and I got through the workout. And I think it's a really accomplishing feeling to do something like that, and to put yourself in a vulnerable position and come out stronger, I think is awesome. So I'm a big advocate for group fitness. I think it's great for building community, meeting friends, and yeah, just challenging yourself. So those are my top workouts in New York. As far as wellnessy places go, and if you are watching via video, please nobody look at my nails because I've been on vacation for a week and they all came off. So nobody look. But as for wellnessy places, I absolutely love The Well. I've talked about this place a little bit on the podcast, but they have all these incredible services and it's very pricey, I'm going to be honest. So I go for the foot massages and it's like $40-$50. I know it sounds steep, but you get access to their steam room for the day. They have like infused water and bone broth, a little reading nook downstairs where you can bring a book and like put on a robe and read your book. They have a sauna. They have all these amazing non-toxic products that you can use. And yeah, it's great. I think it's awesome that you get access to their like spa for the day. Obviously there's other services like massages. They have Reiki. They have cold plunging. They have infrared sauna. There's a lot that you can do there, but I just opt for the cheapest service and all the amenities, but I love it. They have a wellness cafe that is attached. It's really, really good. They have smoothies and lunch and dessert and really, really amazing stuff. They have this chocolate chia pudding. It's made with avocado. it's absolutely divine. So love the well. There's Remedy Place. I went there for a dry January mocktail happy hour with some friends. I've never actually done their services there because their membership is absolutely outrageous, but if you can afford it, why not? Remedy Place is great. They have a ton of different stuff. I've never used their services, so I don't know why I'm saying it's great. But I like their vibe. They have a really cool lobby, and their mocktail happy hour was really fun. But I think that'd be a good place to go with a group of people because they have like a group cold plunge area where you can all cold plunge together. Maybe that'd be like a fun birthday idea. Like just all cold plunge. I don't know. My friend did that, I think, for one of her birthdays. So Clean Market is super great. They have saunas, they have IVs, they have all these incredible non-toxic products and wellnessy products in their lobby. Some of them have matcha fulls in them, so that's amazing. Matcha full is like a matcha cafe here in New York. But yeah, Clean Market's amazing. Sage and Sound is another favorite of mine. It's only a few blocks away from my apartment, and it's so dangerous because I find myself in there way too often. But my friend Courtney, who came on the podcast and talked about sound healing and sound therapy, she is a meditation guide there, and she does sound bowl healing, so you can take one of her sound bowl classes. I did one with some friends a few weeks ago, and you basically lie down on these mats. You have a blanket, a pillow. It's super relaxing. You're in this like cave room that they have there, and she basically does 30 minutes of breath work and then 30 minutes of sound bowl healing. And it was so reviving. It was amazing. I think I fell asleep during it at one point because I was just so relaxed. But Sage and Sound is amazing. They have massages, Reiki, all the other stuff that you would expect to find at a wellness center. They also have a non-toxic nail salon attached, and they have Isle of Us, their healthy cafe, which has the best breakfast burrito in New York City, in my opinion. The Tox is great for lymphatic drainage. I did that last year to prep for Miami Swim Week. I'll probably do it again. And then Beauté Aesthetics is where I've been going for laser. They also have lymphatic drainage machines that are really state-of-the-art, and a bunch of other services that are catered to wellness. So those are my wellnessy spots. Things I really want to try are Rituals by Liv. It's a new private wellness club. I feel like that's a big thing right now here in New York, is the private member wellness clubs, which is cool because I think it's kind of combining this sense of community and the wellness industry together. Where before I feel like there was a lack of meeting space for places for people that are interested in the wellness space. Because if you think about it, the whole concept of a private members club is usually like an actual club or a bar or lounge or something along those lines. So having these places is really cool. And obviously it's an investment, but I think it's an investment in yourself, and it's cool to try out if you are interested in the space. But I also really want to get a facial by Skincare by Alina. I found out about her through the Sweats and the City Girls, and I'm really into facials that use all these different techniques and masks and just things that you wouldn't see in like a normal hydrofacial or something like that. She has some really cool products that I definitely want to try. So I'll also have to give my review on those two places. But anyway, moving on to food, cafes, etc. So Matchaful, I mentioned that whenever I was discussing Clean Market. They have the best clean ceremonial grain matcha. There's a few locations around New York. They have all sorts of specialty crafted matcha lattes, and I'm obsessed. Then there's Cha Cha Matcha. I really like their matcha as well. It's delicious. It's a good little treat. And then Good Sugar on the Upper East Side is one of my favorite places. I recently posted a reel on Good Sugar, and the owner, Marcus, I'm having him on the podcast soon. He is something else. He is so much fun. I actually met with him the other day, and he was telling me about his meditation techniques, and he said that he's constantly meditating, and I love that. You know, I think everybody needs to live by that. You just need to be in constant meditation. And he was leading me through his breath work that he does, and it was awesome. He's the best. But yeah, he needs to come on and just spill all of his knowledge. But he started Juice Press, which is now a huge franchise around the city, but he ended up selling it and now has Good Sugar. And it's this incredible refined-free, gluten-free, sugar-free bakery, cafe, eatery on the Upper East Side. They have incredible matcha as well. It's only cold matcha, but it tastes delicious. And then, yeah, they have the best banana walnut bread in the world. I've never had banana bread this good. It's insane. And honestly, everything that they do there is just incredible. But they also have juices and wellness shots and all sorts of stuff. But another favorite is Springbone Kitchen, and that's in the West Village. It's amazing. They use bone broth to make everything. So they have these rice bowls where they make bone broth rice, and they have protein and veggies and all sorts of stuff. They have like a Mediterranean bowl. I really like their fajita bowl, and they also have just incredible bone broths. They have like an immunity broth. They have like a skin broth, and they also do delivery. So sometimes whenever it's cold outside and I just need like a good warm broth, I'll get like a little bone broth to go and like a bowl. It's the best. But yeah, Springbone's amazing. They also just opened up a burger spot, which uses all complete 100% grass-fed beef. It's called Eat Springy. So they have like burgers and fries and all sorts of stuff, but it's kind of just making those things that we like to indulge on a little bit more healthy and nutritious. So I love how they're kind of breaking the barrier for that. But Spring Cafe Aspen, I'm actually going there after this, and it's amazing, organic, really clean ingredients, and it's a good wide open space, so you can definitely go with like a bunch of friends, and it's a good meeting spot for sure. I've been loving Oakberry, which is an acai bowl smoothie spot, but they use all organic ingredients, which is super important when it comes to acai, because sometimes their sourcing isn't the best from particular places. So I really like that Oakberry is like 100% organic, but they have great little smoothie bowls and smoothies, and it's a great post-workout treat. If you guys are Huberman fans, he talks about how eating fruit post-workout is really important and burns body fat after working out. So I think Oakberry is a great little spot for that. Bluestone Lane, I was there earlier. They have this really cool location on the Upper East Side on 90th and 5th. It's inside of a church, which is really cool. And I actually came up with the name of the show at a Bluestone Lane, so I have a big attachment to them, and it's like an Australian themed restaurant. There's a few of those here in the city, but they have really clean breakfast and smoothies and juices and coffees and matchas, all the things. I love Hutch and Waldo. That's another ode to Australia. It's an Australian-owned company, and they have a few locations here as well. They have an incredible matcha latte, great salads and bowls for lunch. Obsessed with them. And then Maman is a fan favorite out of most of my friends and people in New York, but they have an incredible omelet, and I'll put feta and tomato and onion and pepper. They have like this omelet where you can kind of just put whatever you want in it. And yeah, I love getting that with like a little side salad for breakfast sometimes if I don't have anything at home to make. And their matcha latte, that's like my go-to, where I'll go do some work and have some breakfast. Dr. Smood in Soho is such a vibe. I think it's kind of like a more bougie Joe and the Juice, honestly, but they have really, really great sandwiches, really clean matcha, coffee. It's a good spot to get some work done too. They have public Wi-Fi, thank goodness, and you can have laptops there. It can be hard to find a spot, but that's definitely my go-to if I find myself in Soho needing to sit down and do some computer work. Another spot that I have recently fallen in love with is Anima Mundi. I think that's how you say it. It's an herbal tea spot. So I went with some friends recently, and they have this assortment of herbal teas where you can make your own, and they tell you exactly what type of herb it is and what it caters to. They also have like a cafe there, so you can order different herbal teas. And I actually went up to the counter and told the girl that I was so sleepy that day and fatigued, and I had a lot of work that I had to get done. So she made me like an energizing herbal tea mix, and I felt amazing afterwards. But they're really cool in there. They seem like they are building a really cool community, and yeah, they have like a lot of amazing and cool products that I had never heard of before. But I felt like I got like transported to a different country. It was really awesome. Isle of Us, like I mentioned earlier, best breakfast burrito in New York City by far. I feel like people are going to come at me for saying that, but as somebody that prefers to go gluten-free most of the time, they have great gluten-free tortillas, and everything I've had from there is honestly delicious. But yeah, really cool vibe. Le Botanist in Soho. They have one in Soho, and they have one on the Upper East Side. It's more in the 60s area, but they have amazing, just warm, homemade style food. They actually have it cooking in front of you while you're ordering, which is really cool. But yeah, they have amazing bowls and curries and soups, and everything's seasonal, which I really enjoy. They have natural wines there. So if you're on the natural wine train, definitely the place to check out. They also have an amazing chocolate chia pudding. Highly recommend. They got it off the menu for a bit. I hope it's back on, and I'm not recommending it, and you guys are going to go and be mad that it's not on the menu, but it's absolutely divine. And I actually met one of the managers recently, and he gave me one for free. It was so sweet. I was telling him how much I loved it, and he gave me one, and then they got rid of it. So let's hope that they're bringing it back, or they brought it back. But yeah, Le Botanist is amazing, and definitely a place to go if you're craving a good, healthy, more homemade style meal. Okay, last but not least, Divya's Kitchen. Divya's is a really, really interesting spot. They pride themselves on the Ayurvedic world. So if you haven't heard of Ayurvedic, it's basically this whole lifestyle, like the Ayurveda lifestyle, I believe. And I went to this health and wellness retreat last year, actually a year ago this week, and it was in Arizona, and I got an Ayurvedic facial. So how Ayurvedic works is you first have to take this quiz, and it's how you figure out your dosha. So you want to figure out what your dosha is, kind of like your overall energy, your like physical, mental, emotional form, your being. And you answer these questions based on your own individual preferences, and it tells you what your dosha is. So based on your dosha at Divya's, what you can do is you can order based on what your dosha is. They have everything marked on the menu where it will list each dosha and what menu item is associated with that. So it's supposed to be good for your digestive system, and if you're like a cold or a warm person, it'll be catered to that. It's a very interesting journey there. I think it's just a really cool concept because I've never seen anybody else do that. And yeah, the whole Ayurvedic world is really interesting in general. Whenever I got my facial last year at the wellness retreat that I went on, they catered the facial towards what my dosha was. And then the restaurant there actually had different menu items based on your dosha. So that's the only other place that I've seen do that besides Divya's. But I think it's really cool that we have something like that here in New York City, where there's a lot of hustle and bustling happening. And yeah, I think having like a little mindfulness retreat and being able to enjoy a restaurant concept like that is really, really interesting. So that's basically all of my recs so far as workouts, wellnessy vibes, and cafes, restaurants, etc. But if you have any questions for me, please feel free to send me a DM. I'm happy to answer them. I put everything in the Take Me Out of Office app. So if you guys are not familiar with that, it's basically an app where you can follow me, follow other creators, follow different brands, and you can figure out what recommendations they have for every city that they've been to or that they live in. And yeah, it's curated really aesthetically, and it's a really interesting app because you can plan trips with friends, you can add trip mates, and you can have itineraries on there where it's mapped out of what you're going to do every day. And you can even book hotels. They have a booking.com platform through the app. So yeah, it's amazing. I put everything in there, everywhere that I travel to, it's in there. I'm going to update all of it with my DR Rex, but I am so grateful for just the wellness community that I found here in New York, and just being able to explore and experience a little bit more of that. And if you're making a trip to New York, if you don't live here, I definitely recommend checking out some of these spots on your trip. Or if you live in New York, let me know what you think if you try out any of these spots on your own time. But other than that, I am so incredibly grateful for you guys, as always. And if you liked this episode or found it useful or helpful, please like, rate, and subscribe to Martinis and Bikinis on Spotify or Apple Podcast. And you can hopefully leave a 5-star review, and I'll love you forever. But other than that, I will talk to you guys next week. And yeah, cheers.